Hello, this is the TradeSite US Stocks, Futures, and Forex Market Preview for the week beginning Sunday, the 26th of March, 2023, ending Friday, the 31st. So that's the end of the quarter on Friday. It's the last day of the month on Friday, which means usually they're going to try to peg the market to a certain price for the statement printing for the quarter so they can make their bonuses if there are any to be made. So I wouldn't expect this to be a super exciting end of week. But we'll see what happens. Here's the dollar index daily chart. And as you can see, still sitting in the middle of nowhere. Forex is not exciting right now. Barely been using it much. It's just not what you do. And here's the pound dollar, also uninteresting from that perspective, sitting where it was 3 months ago. The euro dollar, also the same. It's the inverse of the dollar index. But even if you look at something at the pound yen, which this thing's been flat for 8 months now, right? We don't have anything here. So we skip through Forex mostly. We do what we do every day, but it's not that interesting. Let's look at the broad market, though. And this is also not that interesting, right? If you look at this, I just complained about Forex, but where's the ES? It's exactly where it was at the beginning of the chart, which is back in July of last year. So you're talking about 9 months that we've gone nowhere on, the S&P. And, I get it. It is what it is. I'd rather have some excitement either to the downside or to the upside, but we can't really get past that. So it was down a little bit up a little bit on Friday, but we really, the fact that we're holding in despite the banking issues that are going on, I think there's a battle between obviously the interest rate situation, the inflation situation, what it means for the banks that seem to be collapsing, and then is there a bailout coming? The market's acting like, we know they're not going to let the banks fail. I don't know if that's true. We'll see. I still think there's going to be a problem there, but in terms of anything else, we've gone nowhere for weeks now on the S&P. Here's the S&P cash index. We have no signals, by the way, and obviously there's no chart in it. So this is a chart pattern. So this is not the point in time where you go, okay, here's a major point to go over trading during the day. There's just not much going on. We'll pick our moments later. The NASDAQ 100 had a 13 sell signal during the week. That's been the top candle so far, so that's fine. But there's not a lot here either. The Russell 2000, on the other hand, a little bit weaker just because obviously when the banks are having issues, it's harder for the startups, and that's what the Russell 2000 is basically based on. Crude oil down there, 69 down near the lows of the year. Everybody thinks the war and everything that should be raising oil prices, but the reality is we're near lows. And that's probably a bigger sign of what I keep thinking, which is that we're going to have some problems in the economy. Gold, on the other hand, up near highs, and that's also a sign of the same thing I just talked about. So whatever it is what it is. Sorry, wrong chart. Here's the Bitcoin up at 27,483 now. So it's moved up over the last few weeks. Obviously, TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, not going anywhere. Rates are, they keep raising rates, but it's not affecting the TLT. The VIX spiked a couple weeks ago on the bank problem, but then again, the market seems very complacent about this banking thing, and I don't know what to say about it. Feels like there could be some serious structural issues out there, but with the VIX back in the 21 level and the market not really tanking, somebody knows something, or else everybody's wrong, right? That's where we're kind of at. Advanced decline ratio on NASDAQ was 10-day moving average is negative 418. The trend closes at 0.86, puts the 10-day at 1.23. So we don't even have a sell signal on the broad market based on the trend, which is unusual. If there's a problem out there, here's the ES intra-week activity, 5-minute candles. And, as you can see, we closed up a couple points for the week, but it was like Monday flat and drifted higher. Tuesday gapped up, almost did nothing. Wednesday opened flat, nothing happened. The Fed meeting shook us a little bit both ways for a couple moments. Then we came all the way back, and at that point, you're almost even for the week. Thursday, you gap up, you go higher, then you come back, and you almost end up, even for the week. And then the Friday's open is basically even for the week, and then you kind of drift higher. So there's really not much there. NASDAQ 100, again, a little bit more positive, which is interesting, but not much that we would put our money on. Apple, here's the intra-week action. I'm sorry, here's the daily action on Apple, which was up a little bit on Friday. Amazon also, actually, this one was down a little bit on Friday. Meta, dead flat, mostly for the week. I mean, this has been one of the most boring weeks again. Google, not much here. Had a big day Tuesday. Other than that, there's not much going on, and it's still where it was 9 months ago. So there's nothing here. We can't, we depend on intraday action for what we do. But having said that, if the market doesn't move for 9 months, it's pretty hard to depend on intraday action. Goldman Sachs down a little bit the last couple days. Netflix up, seems to be breaking out. That's cool. Tesla, which you saw that 13 cell signal on Tesla we talked about. Posted that one. Could have made some money on the downside of that, but this week was pretty dead flat. Nvidia now has a 13 cell signal, so let's keep that in mind. If you're an options player, you should be all over that stuff. This thing's been one of the few things that's been up for a while, and Zoom, nothing here at all. So it's been, an uneventful, unexciting, blah, 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 week or two or three. I don't know what to say about it from that perspective. We just don't see, it's hard to figure out where the action is going to come from. And I honestly, I think there's some troubles out there, but there's nothing else to say until something actually kicks in terms of the calendar for the week. And like I said, the big thing here this week is that the end of the week is also the end of the quarter. Monday, nothing really here in the U.S. Tuesday, we had the Fed meeting last week, so Tuesday we've got the goods trade balance, the preliminary wholesale inventories, housing price index, consumer confidence, Richmond manufacturing index, and then on Wednesday, rate announcement out of the Bank of England, pending home sales here in the U.S., crude oil inventories. Nothing that's going to completely make anything interesting. Final GDP at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, but that's not the first look, so it's the third look. And that's not that interesting, although we also come with the initial and continuing jobs claims numbers at that point. Secretary Yellen speaks in the afternoon on Thursday. And then on Friday, again, still not much overseas, but then personal income and spending, Chicago PMI, revised University of Michigan sentiment, and then New Zealand and Australia do their time shifts, which the rest of the world already has for daylight savings time next weekend. So nothing super exciting. Charts as usual brought to you by NinjaTrader. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple of weeks. Have a great trading week.